Answer this by the same person. Ethnic cleansing of Palestine started 50 years before Hamas was created. It was entirely premeditated and the only possible way to build a Jewish homeland on a land that was 90% non-Jewish. That's just not true. It's just not true. In the 1930s, there was no ethnic, so 50 years before Hamas was created in the 80s, the 1930s, there was no ethnic cleansing going on. Indeed, if you look at migration patterns in the late 19th century all the way into the 1940s, vast numbers of Arabs migrated into what is now Israel. They were new immigrants, just like the Jews who were coming in were new immigrants. Nobody was being kicked out of Israel before the state of Israel was established, because quite the opposite. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, who today call themselves Palestinians, were actually completely new immigrants who came from Jordan and Syria and Lebanon and Egypt and other places around the area to what was called then Palestine. And why did they come? Why did they come? Why suddenly was there massive in-migration into this area? And the Arabs don't want to hear this, but the reality is that the Jews were created massive economic opportunities. They were building cities. They were creating farming on a scale that had never existed. They were using land that had been swamp and desert that nobody knew how to use. They were literally drying swamps. They were building industry. This even Israelis don't know this because the socialists don't want you to know it, but there was private industry. The electrification of Palestine happened because of Jewish enterprise. So Jews were building industry, farming, cities, creating jobs. And Arabs in Syria and Jordan were looking at themselves and going, yeah, I mean, I can earn a lot more by going over there. There's a lot more job opportunities over there than there are over here. And they did. And they were the manual labor that built much of Israel in terms of the actual construction, right? They built the homes, the buildings, and they worked in the industries. So the exact opposite of ethnic cleansing happened before 1948. Post-1948, and during 1948, I've already answered, there was no ethnic cleansing. 1948 saw them run away. You run away, you lose, tough. I don't see any moral responsibility of the people defending themselves to respect your so-called rights to come back, particularly when you continue to hold a view that wants to eliminate the very state that you demand a return to. Yeah, there was no premeditated, there was no plan. The Arabs left without Israel asking them to leave. Most of the asking to leave was done by the Arabs. Now, again, were there cases? And should the Arabs be compensated where you could show proof of it? Okay. Fine. But those are the exception, not the rule. The rule was that it wasn't ethnic cleansing. The rule was that it was people losing in a war and running away. Or running away in anticipation that they would win and be able to come back. Either way, Israel owes them nothing. And it wasn't ethnic cleansing, period.